Hey guys, it's me again. I'm here with another psychic reading. I am actually doing this reading in response to SHAWN and EXO's videos about Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes. I think she has like 3 or 4 videos about them up here, and I always watch her stuff, so I'm like, let me just do a reading on them. And honestly, I'm not like that obsessed with either of them, like especially Camila Cabello. I don't really find her that interesting. Um, Honestly, I kind of find her like a little miniature Meghan Markle. But anyway, like I'm sure she's not that bad. But I want to read into Shawn Mendes first. Do you guys really care about Camila Cabello? I mean, I could do a separate reading on her if you guys are like really want to know all about her. I'll read a little bit into her, but this is definitely going to be about Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello's relationship and how he really feels because, from what I've seen so far, and like so far meaning only the stuff I've seen on Shawn's videos, this is like this relationship, like karmically or like universally, is more about him than her. I feel like he's the star of the show here, even though like on on the TV it seems like it's all about her. I feel like he's learning a lot from this experience more so than her. She's kind of like a blocked wall where she really can't gain insight from anything that's really happening to her, especially with relationships. She's honestly, I just don't really see much depth in this woman. But I really wanted to go into Shawn Mendes because I really like am not the girl who likes abs and like whatever. I think he's cute, but like I don't know, like, but whatever. Alright, I'm gonna start by reading Shawn Mendes and just being, like as ethical as possible. And like, I don't feel like I've really been that ethical, like when I do these psychic readings on celebrities. And like recently, somebody who was going to start mentoring me kind of like explained the reasoning to being ethical and everything like that. Whereas I had one idea about well, if I could do this, like I should just like do whatever I want. But when you're on such a platform that has the potential to gain a lot of like people watching, I would definitely not want to like expose anybody or take away something from them. So I might not exactly be I might not like expose everything about him, but I'm going to give him a damn good reading, basically. Alright, so let's go start with Shawn Mendes. Alright, this is the picture I'm using. I don't know if that even matters. If you're new to my channel, thank you for being here. And the way I read people is I read them from their eyes, from pictures. It's the easiest way for me to read people. I've been doing it for years. Just the easiest way. I don't like reading people in front of me, just not my thing. So as soon as I tune into Shawn Mendes, I see that there's a really happy like nature about him. He's very optimistic about life. There is a lot of alignment with him and his inner child is what I'm seeing. So he's very aligned with his true purpose, his soul's path. He's a very enlightened spirit, but he has a very light-hearted energy to him. How do I explain that? He is an empath. I hope that's not exposing too much. He is an empath like me. I feel that his gifts are not so much on the intuitive side, but there is a part of him that can be very intuitive. But for the most part, the way he portrays himself and the dimension that he really shows of himself and that he really gives to the world is very lighthearted. Whereas he has like such a positive energy to him that it's almost like the way he expresses his him being on a 5th dimension, vibrating on a 5th dimension, is by literally being next to people. The way he like, I'm sure he's very addicting, I guess is like to say. For people that know him, he has a very addicting energy, and it's because he is vibrating at such a high level. I feel like hold on, I'm just gonna get a better picture here. Okay, so alright, I'm getting a past life here. I'm seeing, we'll get into the past life in a little bit, but just overall energy of him, he's a very bright energy. I feel like he has been an astral being for a long time before he incarnated on this planet. If you don't know what an astral being is, I really don't know how to explain it. Basically, it's somebody that lives within realms. Some people would call our guides astral beings. I really don't have the same belief on it, but astral beings can guide us through life, and whatever else. It's a different dimension. You get the gist of it. So, all right, going into one of his past lives, and if I haven't mentioned before, my specialty is reading past lives. I do see that he had a past life as a king. This is what's predominantly coming up for me. Alright, so yeah, I do see he had a very, like, a leader position. He was definitely a king because I'm seeing a red robe, and I'm seeing a hat, like what is it, the, like, yellowish hat? I don't know how to explain. I don't know what these things are called. But I'm seeing he had a past life as a king where he was a leader to many people, but I do see that he wasn't a bad leader. I'm seeing that he was a very, like, how do you say it? He was a very good leader. Like, he was a true leader, not like in the ages where these kings would behead people. He wasn't like that. He had a lot of power and authority, but the power really came from inside his soul because he's such a powerful being, and just honestly, just such a force that he never felt like he really needed to do anything bad to get back at people, is what I'm getting. Yeah, he's a natural born leader. This person is also kind of an alchemist, meaning that he can turn something that's very negative, something very dark, into something positive. And that goes back to what I was saying with the energy. He's kind of addicting and intoxicating to people that know him because he's such a higher wavelength. He's very, like, I don't want to say optimistic, but he's just so pleasant. Like, his energy is just so pleasant that people love to be around him. And I hate to say this, but I feel like CAMILA is kind of an energy vampire, which is why she's with him. I know, like, celebrity readings, nobody really understands these terms. So, what an energy vampire is, and I haven't read her yet, so I don't want to go 100% in and say this girl's like a narcissist or something. And I feel like, especially in the mental health community, like, that word is thrown around way too much. I don't feel like there really should be such a scale where it's like a low grade narcissist versus a high grade narcissist. I really don't believe in that. I don't like people calling other people narcissists for no reason. So before I further go into her and the reasoning behind why they're together, I'm just gonna say that he's vibrating at such a level that is so intoxicating to anybody that really lacks that, like, that positivity, that, like, lust for life, because he's very, like, he's a visionary. He's a manifester. He could think things through and they will happen for him. I'm seeing that his energy is so clear that literally he can manifest things within 3 to 5 days, and it'll just happen for him because he's vibrating at such a high level. Yeah, he's a very beautiful soul. But I feel like there's also a bit of, like, playfulness about him too. Yeah, he really just has, like, a lighthearted spirit, and there's a lot of playfulness about him, and he just really integrates a lot of his child qualities into reality, whereas people, like, they will grow up and they will see negative and bills and like all those things that will really just tear apart their soul, their self-esteem, and society will do these things to him. Whereas he's like, no, I'm not really conforming to the way that society thinks and everything. And he's basically saying, this is me. I'm not really gonna change. Just because things may get hard, I'm gonna stay myself. This is just how it is. And I really I'm jealous of that. Yeah, definitely like a lot of childlike qualities in him. And usually, when I see this in people, I'll say that this person hasn't fully developed. But I feel like he's here to really bring those childlike qualities into this world. He's really here to remind us about, hey, don't take it so serious. Like, life isn't so serious. I don't feel like he has a developmental problem. I just feel like he's at such a high wavelength that he really just beats to his own drum at this point. So I'm gonna go into Camila Cabello. And girl, I'm not reading her. Like, this girl is. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna read her and him, meaning like together, basically. All right. Like I said before. Alright, she has kind of a darker energy. I do notice that I'm like asking for a little bit more protection while I'm reading her, and as soon as like the image popped up, I'm seeing a snake. I need to like get better pictures of these people. So this girl is honestly, this girl is using him. And I don't want to say that so blatantly, but this is what I'm hearing from Spirit. This girl feels like she's the star of the show. I feel like I need to read her just to give you guys like a better analogy of this girl. So I'm gonna do that. This video is gonna be like 30 minutes long. Alright. Gotta get a good picture of her. Wow, I really don't like this girl. I don't like that she's with him. And I feel like honestly, from what I'm hearing right now, is that okay, this girl wanted him or and somehow manipulated him to be with her, and he's such a nice guy, like he's such a pure-hearted guy in his soul. He felt like he felt like mandated to carry this out with her. But this girl's really drained. She's a real energy vampire, and she's really draining him. There's some things I really can't say. Just, in respect and being ethical, that I really can't expose about this relationship, and I'm really sorry about that. But I feel like he's not going to be able to do this much longer. I'm hearing a year, the truth is going to be out. So there might be some news coming up in a year where he's kind of like had it, but I feel like he feels really stuck right now because he can't really get out of this relationship, and I feel like he's kind of, she knows she's manipulating him, but she's so, like, shallow. She really doesn't understand, like, what's the real him, like, what's really going on here. She doesn't really understand that. So, she's basically saying she needs something out of this relationship. Spirit isn't really telling me what it is. I'm gonna assume that it's fame. I mean, that's, like, why these people go into these relationships. I'm not seeing it's contractual at all. I don't really see any contracts. On a basis, this is a real relationship. is the feelings really there? No, these people are both doing this for their own reasons. I feel like he was kind of dragged into this, whereas she's kind of calling all the shots and is yeah, she's really trying to get attention for something. Like, I'm gonna assume it's fame. I'm not really getting anything else. And honestly, she's just like fucking a little Meghan Markle. I mean, I don't know if they're the same ages, but I mean, I think Meghan Markle is 10 times worse, and I'm really not gonna go into that because yeah, there are some things that I personally, as a psychic medium, really cannot expose. Just because I don't feel like the world is at the vibration enough for me to expose that and really tell the truth about certain relationships, certain hierarchies. Um, I'm just really not allowed to expose that. But for Camila Cabello, she's she's not she's not bad. She's not, whatever. She's definitely kind of a trickster. She's definitely manipulative, but she's so shallow and she's so like, I almost want to say she's on like a very like a lower dimension. Um, and I don't know much about her. Like, I haven't really researched them. I really don't like pop or like anything like that. Like, I don't really care. Um, but from what I'm seeing here, and I really don't like what she's doing to this poor guy, and I don't even really like him, but I see how much of a beautiful soul he is. Um, I feel bad that she's basically dragging this poor guy into this relationship and manipulating him. She has a secret on him. She has dirt on him. She's definitely chiming into the dirt she has on him. I feel like she kind of knows what I've told you about like the childlike spirit. She's really like, I don't even know how to say it. She's really like playing a role, and the way Shawn Mendes is that he's such a good-hearted person that he really sees the good in her, but and he might really even care about her and like love her on some superficial level and like feel like this is love, like this is what it should be like, but he knows in the back of his head, because remember, he is an empath like me. He does have like, an inner sense. He knows in the back of his head that this girl is not good. And the problem with empaths, some of us are very evolved. I am currently struggling with this. We usually get into relationships with people that are very toxic. And from what I'm seeing, Camila is very toxic. Camila is really manipulating him. She has something on him. And she's not saying, hey, well, if you break up with me, I'm going to tell the whole world. That's not what it is. It's more of a psychological thing that she's holding over his head, which is kind of how she's dragging this relationship on. Plus the fact that Shawn doesn't really feel like he doesn't really feel like he can get out of this right now, basically. And it's not just because of her, it's because of some other things with him. He does not really feel like he can get out of this right now, and he feels trapped. And he really hasn't admitted to himself yet that, damn, I'm like really being dragged along by this girl. Because although karmically and vibrationally, this relationship is teaching him the lesson, because he is an evolved spirit and he is, kind of an alchemist in a way. She's not getting anything out of this. She's very superficial. She's very one-dimensional. That's not to say that. She's not very one-dimensional. There's a side of her that I would like to believe is good, but there's a side of her that's very manipulative, very shallow, and always needs to have power over her. I'm seeing she has a lot of control issues, but very vague, like, ugh. And it just gets me so upset that she's dragging this poor guy into this, because he's such a good person and like such a nice soul. I don't think people say that, but like I said, I'm hearing a year that he's really gonna step into what's real, and I'm seeing that he's gonna come into some other artistic abilities of his. Yeah, I really feel like he's going to really bring that childlike spirit out of him. Because right now I feel like, alright, he kind of understands that like he's like a sex. Oh my god, my computer. Ah, sorry guys. He kind of understands that he's kind of like a sex image or like whatever, sex doll, I don't know what you guys call it. But he really feels like now he has a platform and like, you know, he has fans. He really is going to come out with some of his childlike art and like, I don't know, arts. He's going to be very creative in a way that's like he had in his mind since he was a child. And he's going to bring some of those like ideas forth. I don't know, I keep seeing like the color yellow really predominantly. Okay. Yeah, so I do see him coming out with his truth in that. Camilla, like I said, karmically, I feel like this relationship, it's teaching him a lot of lessons that he needs to learn. And, you know, when his truth really does come out and, like, you know, he really starts expressing himself better, I feel like he's gonna like realize, look, I didn't have to deal with this girl. Like the girl. This is a real relationship. There's just nothing contractual about this relationship. This girl is literally just manipulating him, kind of in a way we saw with Meghan Markle and whatever that guy's name is. But she's a lower grade. Like I'm not getting into that relationship. Camila Cabello is kind of a one-dimensional person. She's very shallow, superficial. There's really nothing there. There's no lessons. Like, I'm not really seeing any need to, even when I started this reading, I didn't see any need to read her because she's just kind of like a catalyst. Kind of, she thinks she's like the main star, and I guess in the physical world, she is the main star right now. It definitely isn't Shawn Mendes. But on a spiritual level, he's gaining a lot of insights about himself through this relationship, and I feel like once he's done, he's gonna be like, he's gonna really just express himself, and I'm hoping, because you know there's always a chance that it doesn't happen, it makes it worse, but I'm really hoping that he steps out of this and really feels like, okay, I can really express myself and like artistically or whatever. But I'm definitely seeing that this relationship is totally planned out by her, and he really sees the good in her, and he hasn't really like conceptualized that the fact is she's not really that person, and she's never really gonna get there. It's not in her soul's mission to get there. It's just not. It's this. She's very fake, and like, for lack of a better word, this is just her pulling strings with him. I'm just seeing like pulling strings, and that's really what this relationship is. I feel like this is a karmic relationship. If you guys are familiar with soul contracts, soul ties, please Google karmic relationship. I feel like that might, you know, like really give you guys a better understanding of what's going on here. I don't want to say because yeah, I don't really feel like this is a soulmate relationship. This is definitely kind of karmic, but he's learning a lot from it, and I really hope he comes out of this a lot stronger and braver and freer. A lot freer, honestly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I answered all the questions you guys might have or anything like that, and yeah, this was kind of a hard reading because I guess it definitely struck some emotional chords in myself, you know, and I definitely have a new perspective of Shawn Mendes. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a general reading or you want to follow me on Instagram, DM me. I'll put my Instagram below. Alright, thanks guys.